Welcome to the English Football League. That's right, today it's the first ever match for Regen Rovers in League 2 after our quite incredible promotion last season thanks to the legend that is Jack Young. And without further ado, I would like you to have a look at something special that's been created for Jack Young as a result of that famous goal against Barrow. Yes, that's right, we've created a statue for Jack Young. You're going to have nightmares about this, aren't you? This is going to be outside the Regen Rovers Stadium in Reigate. As you walk to the entrance, we've got his 3 different hairstyles on there, his name, and of course, the Regen Rovers logo. We had to do something, didn't we? The other thing we are going to do is we're going to name the new stand after Jack Young. It's going to be called the Jack Young Stand. We're currently increasing the capacity to over 5,000 due to League 2 regulations, I guess. I'm not quite sure what the actual figure is that we need to increase it to, but it's been increased to over 5,000 this time around. The new stadium's going to be called the Jack Young Stand to recognise his achievements for the club. He's the record goal scorer, and he scored the second most important goal of our history. I suppose the Dr. Jones goal, without that, Regen Rovers wouldn't exist. We could name a stand after Dr. Jones maybe one day, I don't know. But for now, we've got the Jack Young stand. Now this brings me on to something. I did mention a few videos ago about the little corner of our stadium, and I asked for suggestions for you guys to name it something. Now some great suggestions came in. I put a poll in the description below, so vote for your favourite. I'll close the poll in 24 hours or so, and that will be the name of the corner. Some really good ones there. Quite like the Snake Pit. I think a couple of people suggested that's a great idea. Maybe the Surgery because of Dr. Jones, or maybe name that after Jack Young as well. Maybe he deserves 2 different areas of the stadium named after him. There's lots of housekeeping at the start of today's video before we get on with the episode properly. But there's a few things I need to address. So we've addressed the statue, we've addressed the stand, we've addressed the naming of the corner of the Regen Rovers Stadium where all the hardcore fans go. Are you someone that likes to get into the action, get into the corner, scream your lungs out, let all the stress of the week be destroyed by just having a right old go in the corner of the Regen Rovers Stadium every week? Or are you someone that likes to have a nice glass of champagne in the corporate facilities, of which they're pretty poor? You'd probably get a cold cup of tea or something like that. But anyway, these are the new shirts. Well, they're not new, in fact. I did do a vote on Twitter, on the Regen Rovers Twitter, and I decided to select historical shirts that have been sent in to us. So there are 4 home shirts, 4 away shirts, 4 third kits, and you guys voted, and the winners of all 3 were the winners of last season. So we're keeping the same shirts for this League 2. If you want to send shirts in, please do send them sort of quite early on in the season so I can get them out straight away at the end of the season, because we didn't have any sent in this year. So if you would like your shirts to be featured in next year's poll, please create them and send them to me via Twitter. That's probably the best thing to do. I've got an email address for this stuff as well, goldenfm1991@gmail.com. I'll put that in the description below, because I'd also like you to send me logos. We had a couple of logos sent in, and I did say to celebrate getting promoted to League 2, we would possibly change the logo. The old logo, this one here, will be up in the vote, as will the current logo, the snake one, and plus any others that are sent in to me. So we will change the logo at some point, so perhaps this season you can send them in. If you'd like to create a logo for Regen Rovers, you can email it to me or tweet it to me, and then we'll have a vote at some point, probably for next season. We don't want to be too hasty because we might get relegated this season, and celebrating League 2 promotion with a relegation wouldn't be the nicest thing. Of course, we might just stay as we currently are with the snake logo, but that's up to you guys. Anyway, what you want to know is, who have we signed? How did we do in pre-season? Who are we taking on today in our first ever match of League 2? Well, I can tell you that. We're taking on Cambridge United at home at the Regen Rovers Stadium in our first ever League 2 match. We did actually play them in pre-season as well, so we had a little bit of a practice ahead of this game. But yes, Cambridge in our first ever League 2 games, and we're also going to take on Ipswich Town today. I don't usually play 2 matches at the start of a season, but I am going to today, so it's quite a long video. But the reason for that, it's our first ever English Football League Cup game, the EFL Cup, and we're taking on a Championship side, Ipswich, who we also happen to play in pre-season as well, strangely enough. So 2 games for you to look forward to today, later on in today's episode. But first of all, let's sort out the transfers, eh? Let's sort out the transfers. So it looks like we didn't release that many players. We haven't yet, but I probably will release some more. In fact, there's going to be another poll. Yeah, there's going to be so much stuff in the description below at the start of the season, but the start of the season when we just organise everything for the rest of the season. So there's a few things to vote on in the description below, and there's a few things for you if you want to send me shirts and logos. And also, please smash the like button if you haven't done so already. That'd be much appreciated. And also, if you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button. What are you playing at? But the other poll in the description below will be all about the under-23 players. Now, there's going to be 5 players released from this under-23 bunch. I'm going to put, not every name's up for contention. Of course, Dr. Jones will survive. But there's going to be a few names from the under-23s in that poll. The bottom 5 in the next 24 hours, the 5 players that get the least votes will be released from the club. There's quite a few there, but I feel like we need to have a little bit of a clear out, especially these days, as the finances are a little bit in trouble since becoming a professional club. I didn't clear that up, I've tweeted it, but we are a professional club, as predicted. You know, when you're a League 2 club, you have to become professional. So we've been offering a lot of full-time contracts out to our current stars, and that will have an impact on the finances. You can see here we're already paying over our wage budget, although the good thing is I can now reduce this again. So we're still paying over our wage budget. I'd already reduced it from 67 grand to £0 to keeping with our wage budget, and now I've had to do it again. I don't know where that 20k from. It suddenly just appeared. Not complaining, but there we go. So you can see financially this could ruin us this year playing in League 2. We're not really prepared for it as a club, and we're paying very little on wages. We'll have a look at club comparison in a second, but this could be messy for us financially. You can see there's a lot of players on contracts now, and they're full-time contracts. Some of them aren't actually earning us that much more than what they were on part-time contracts, but training-wise it really should help us, because we're going to be in training a lot more full-time. They are. Players like Jack Young gonna have to, you know, put their day job to one side if they want to be a proper professional footballer, full-time professional footballer. But you can see there's quite a few players that have been offered contracts. There's still a few on their old deals, so they'd be on essentially non-contracts, like Liam Simmons and Grant Moore. Stewart Warren refused to sign a new contract because he wanted to leave, but no one wanted him. He's staying at the club. I can't sell him now that he's on a non-contract, but he doesn't want to sign a proper contract. Don't know about Brady Chick. Should I give him a full-on contract? I guess I can't really afford it now, unless it's obviously less than what he's earning as a non-contract. He's got an appearance fee of £375, which is a lot, but he doesn't play every game. If we look at the contracts a second, you can see the highest contract. This isn't. Oh, there we go. Wage is a new player, Mohamed Garber, who we'll look at in a second. But the likes of Drury, Danny Bai have big contracts because they deserve it, especially Danny Bai. Reece Walker, Mohamed, our young striker, he's on a proper contract. I've given contracts to young players who I think will progress well in the future, because now they're in full-time training, they should progress very well and become decent players and develop into good quality players at this level. That's what I hope anyway. Whether that happens or not, I always say this, but we shall see. I've got high hopes for Joseph Mohamed though. He scored a goal in 2 goals in pre-season. Was okay for the under-23s last year, and everything's going up, as you can see there. Charlie Lofts, he really turned into a decent defender for us last year. He's 22 years old, still can improve. I think he can develop into a decent defender for us alongside Brian Walker. Tim Green, I really liked him last season. He deserves a contract, so he's been given one. Marlowe, Dibber, Zealous, they've got contracts. And Jack Young, £180 a week, he's on a contract as well. He deserves it. He's a legend. He may not be up to the standard of the other players, but he is a legend. He deserves to be. It's not even £180 a week. He'd be probably earning that in 2 shifts as a plumber. He actually owns his own. In fact, we might as well move on to this now. Yes, Jack Young is the first player to feature in the Player Diaries feature this season, as you can see. He's 23 years old now, born in 1999 in Brackley. He is just the definition of a Regen Rovers legend. There's no one else that can match him at this moment in time, and I don't know if anyone will ever match him. He owns his own plumbing business. Now you may be asking, how does this work now he's a full-time footballer? Well, he's the owner. He's taken over from his dad fully. His dad's retired. His dad started the business. Jack Young was basically his apprentice as a 16-year-old, obviously developed into a very good plumber, and has taken the business over from his dad, who has retired, and now he's got plumbers underneath him doing all the jobs. So he will occasionally do a job, but it's mainly the other guys nowadays. Now that he's decided to dedicate his life to football, he earns a lot more from plumbing than football, to be fair, which has enabled him to buy a house in Dorking with his fiancée. So they'll be getting married next summer, I do believe. So a lot of the lads will be going. He might even invite some of you super fans along to the wedding. So that's Jack Young, and we will analyse one game. It has to be the final from last year. He's actually scored quite a few goals in pre-season as well. He's had a good summer. But let's have a look at him in this final against Barrow. Remember, he had that first opportunity. Can't actually analyse him. The game's broken, we can't analyse extra time, what's going on? He had 2 shots saved by the keeper and scored 1 goal. This isn't really working for some reason, extra time analysis. We can't actually click on him. We can click on everyone else. We can't click on Jack Young, the game's not allowed. That is just broken. What's going on there? 15 passes completed, 1 key pass. He had, up to that goal, it was an alright performance from him, nothing special. If we just go down, he lost 4 aerial challenges, didn't make a single tackle, but that's not his job, of course. Didn't intercept the ball at all. He came on in, was it the 68th minute? Had 2 half chances, and of course he took 1 of them. And in fact, it's not showing because of extra time. So he had 2 half chances, which maybe he could have taken on a better day, but he got the goal in the end, and that is what matters at the end of the day. Those are his touches over the pitch. I don't know if it's shown extra time. What a guy he is. We'll always love Jack Young, won't we? Anyhow, getting back to the squad then. I went off topic there once again. Apologies. There's players that have received contracts, and it has meant that I have not signed a huge number of players this season because of the fact. In fact, there's been 2 signings, and the rest are all loans because of the fact that I don't have enough money to bring in other players. I didn't have enough money to buy players. I decided to sacrifice that and just offer contracts to the players that deserve contracts at this club, that deserve to be full-time footballers. But I've released Ellis Watts, who I don't think you ever really saw. Was never good enough. Greg Winter's gone. He played a number of games for the club, 53 league games for Regen Rovers. He did okay at times, got a few assists, decent average rating, but looking at him, he's not going to be good enough in the future. His technical attributes are just definitely not good enough for League 2. And Leon Woodland, who has gone as well, he played a lot of games for the club, 88 league games, but last season he didn't feature at all. He's just been pushed out by players like Dibber, who are quite simply better than him. He did get 10 league assists, though, in the 2018-19 season, which was very impressive. In our promotion season from the National League South, a couple assists, but by that point he was starting to get phased out of the team, I suppose. Coming into the team, then, first of all, was Ben Mann. Signed him simply because I think it's a great name, Ben Mann. Just, it works. For whatever reason. He's a centre-back, and I quite like the look of some of his attributes. Marking, tackling, determination, leadership, maybe a future captain if he can improve. He's only 18. Decent jumping reach. I need to improve heading and marking, and probably his strength as well for a centre-back. That seems to be going up nicely. Now, players we bring in at this point should hopefully develop better than players we've previously brought in. We've seen so many players go by the wayside, simply because we're not a full-time team. We're not training full-time. They were just training a couple days a week, I guess, in the evenings. And now we're a professional club. Coaches can hopefully influence these players much better. And although Ben Mann may not look as good as some of our other players we have, he might develop to be better than some of them simply because he's only 18 and he's got some great coaches around him helping him to become a footballer. Plenty of defenders in the team. We've got options, but there's a few that have been dropped down to the under-23s. I'll show the squad and the under-23 squad in a second. Remy Grocott is next. He came in on loan from Peterborough United. Now, he's Spent a couple of seasons out on loan at Basingstoke in Gloucester in the Vanarama National League North and South levels. Last year, very good season for Gloucester City. Is 2 divisions below this, but still 15 assists. Not to be sniffed at. Very good average rating as well. Could be a decent player for us in the middle. He's got 15 passing. He's just a decent all-round player, to be honest. But he's only on loan, so he might not be here long term. Unlikely to be, I guess. If he does well, then he'll develop into a decent player for Peterborough, I guess. Flynn Tyler's come from Ipswich. He's got very good physicals, as you can see there. Can bomb down that left-hand side. And he's done well in pre-season, which has made me decide to start him today ahead of Stewart Warren. We need some consistency from our left wing back, because Tim Green was consistent last year. Good average rating. Stewart Warren, on the other hand, inconsistent. Sometimes can produce a good game and other times was just very average. But coming from Ipswich, don't really know how he's played before. I can't see his youth appearances. He's 19 years old and I think he can be a good player for us this year. His technicals definitely need to be improved though. Larry Udder, I finally got him. You may remember him. He was on loan at Dorchester at the end of the 2018-19 season. Only for 9 games, but he scored 5 goals and 3 assists. Was a bit of a star for them. I don't think he managed to keep them up though. But since then they've been promoted to the National League, of course. For Millwall, he played the last 3 seasons in the youth teams, I guess. We can't see how he did, unfortunately. But I love him. Well, not love that. Why did I say love him? That was a strong word. I like the look of him. He's got 16 on finishing, but 17 on aggression, which might be detrimental in some way. Let's hope he's not too much of a hothead. But 16 on finishing, decent composure off the ball, okay physicals. He's strong. He is going to be our main target man, essentially. If I'm going to go with a target man in the middle, then I think Udder could be a good player for us. We've got Chick. We've got Lee Orford as well that can play there. He's, by the way, he's injured still for 2 months. He had quite a severe injury in pre-season. But I think Udder can be a good player for us. Larry Udder, great name. Next up, the last loan player is David Stewart, a right wing back from Rochdale, who's pretty similar to Tim Green. I do like the look of him. He's a very well-rounded player. And I think he can be a solid addition to our squad. When I played him in pre-season, he really liked getting down that right-hand side, quite far up the pitch. So let's hope he can be maybe a good. He will either be a good understudy for Tim Green, or maybe he can push Tim Green out the team and replace him. And lastly, the star signing is Mohamed Garber, half Nigerian. Although he's, I think, where was he born? Let's have a look. Yeovil, that's where he was born. Mohamed Garber, I like him. He's got good first touch. He's technically quite gifted, I suppose. Passing's very good. Physically, he's pretty sound as well. Good acceleration, decisions and composure, bravery. Things that let him down. Determination is not great. Teamwork and work rate are very low. But he's a good set piece taker as well. I think he can produce a moment of magic for us. He's not going to start the season in midfield, although technically he is our best midfielder, I think. Apparently Patrick did, but I'm confused what's going on here. Apparently current ability there, but not there. Well, that's odd. Anyway, I think he can be a good player for us, and he used to play for Chelsea. So they obviously believed in him at one point, and they believed enough in him to give him a cup appearance in the 2019-20 season, and then 2 seasons ago, 2 starts and a sub appearance in the cup, and a goal as well. He scored for Chelsea, but they released him, and he's not had a club for a year. And he's finally found us. So I'm guessing he's gone downhill quite a bit in that time. But let's get him back up. I really have high hopes for his potential. I think he can be a star player for us. Now, looking at the team comparison, first of all, I'll just show you where we're expected to finish this season. I'll just turn this off. We're, of course, bottom. But 500 to 1 is not as bad as previous seasons. It's usually 1,000 to 1. And maybe the bookies have finally cottoned on that we're an okay team and can perhaps pull off a shock. It's still going to be very tough, but we're going to have to look to try and finish ahead of Cheltenham, Morecambe, Northampton, Stockport, Hartlepool, Oldham, who are all sort of down there as well with us. If we can finish above a couple of them, then you never know, we might have a decent season. Reece Walker and Stewart Warren apparently are 2-star players, but look at the value compared to some of these other guys. Some of them will be players on loan from top teams, I guess, but we're really up against it. Going on to team report then, you can see, let's have a look at the facts. So we've still got a very young average age, 21, compared to the league average of 25. Oldest players, Jack Young and Grant Waugh. Youngest player, Kevin McGill, who's turned 18 recently. Average height, not that far behind the League 2 average, which is good. The average weight is exactly at the average of League 2. So a lot of our players are grown men now. They're not 17s, 18-year-olds. They're all in their early 20s, really. But you can see here, our top earner, £750 a week, is the new star, Mohammed Garber. Stockport County, who went up with us incidentally, are paying Owen Dale 6.25k a week. Just shows the difference between us. Our average wage is £160 per week. I think that average is brought down by all the non-contract players. The average for the league is £950 per week. Our highest player, Garber, is earning less than the average, so this is going to be tough. But I've been in charge of the club for 6 years and 34 days, which is the longest in the league now. That's some achievement. Just looking at me, I've improved. I've got a Continental B licence. I'd love to get the A licence soon. Let's see if the board are willing. Don't think they will because of the money issues. Yeah, they need me at training at the moment. We're not going to improve the facilities for a while. The new stand is costing a hell of a lot of money. We're in League 2 paying wages now every week, full-time wages. It's going to be tough. I've improved the staff. We've got a lot more staff members and they're being paid handsomely. My assistant's being paid more than me. I've got a contract now that runs until 2025, £600 a week. My new assistant manager, Adrian Usulbunsu, is earning £875 a week, and he's not even that good, but he's pretty much the best guy I could find that wanted to come to me. That is a Regen assistant manager. There's plenty of assistants out there, but they're not Regens. It's a tough old world, but we've got lots of coaches there, you can see. We've got a mix of nationalities now. We've got an under-18 assistant manager from Holland. We've got a fitness coach from Spain. He was the best fitness coach I could find, by the way, that wanted to come. We've got a couple of new coaches from Holland as well. These are my two best coaches, to be honest. Job van der Lely, or something like that. Sorry, Dutch people. And Niels Bruggink, who is pretty good at defensive coaching. So he looks incredibly petrified, though, to be here. And we've also got an Italian scout, Nello Ferro. What a name that is. Anyway, going back to comparison, let's have a look at the players. And these random facts and figures aren't too bad. We've got the average weight is right in the middle, but average age is, of course, the lowest in the league, 20.68. Player wage, the lowest. Average international caps, the lowest. Of course. You know, that's nothing new. Moving on to all positions, we've actually got the best teamwork in the league. We're proud of our teamwork attribute. We always seem to have a very high attribute there. High aggression, that's been pretty standard for us this series. Leadership is the lowest, as is strength and first touch. That is nothing new either. But passing isn't the worst. It's 21st. Decisions, work rate. Work rate's really dropped, actually. It used to be very high, but of course we're now in League 2 where the work rate will probably be better. Goalkeepers wise, not too bad between Sivzelis, Waugh and Alex Hall. If it was just Sivzelis here, we'd probably be a bit better off because one-on-ones and throwing is the worst, but things like reflexes, 5th best in the league. Not bad going at all. Defensively, not great. I'm quite proud of my three main defenders, Bayer, Walker and Lofts. I think they can be a solid back three for us this season. But there's a few things that we really are lacking at. Our best one is marking, which is 22nd best in the league. But positioning, strength and tackling, worst in the league. Midfield-wise, actually not too bad. We've signed a few decent players, either on loan or Mohammed Garber, a permanent deal. We are the best passers of the ball in League 2. That is a shock, I must say. That is very impressive. And we actually had the second best teamwork, 15th best decisions. We're the worst at tackling and technique, which is a strange combination there. Portsmouth had the best technique. Yep, we're going to have to come up against Portsmouth. That's going to be tough. Attack-wise, we've got the best finishing. Brilliant stuff. We've got a few players on 15. I do like a good finish for the ball. Everything else is below average. Pace is the lowest. But yeah, not great that everything else is quite low. Never mind. Physically, not great. Fitness, natural fitness is average though for the league. Strength, pace and acceleration, the worst. Mentally, teamwork still the best. Aggression very high. Lots of really low attributes there. Same with technique. But it's not too dissimilar to the conference. And we almost won the conference, National League, whatever you want to call it. I'm quietly confident that we can survive this season, simply because I've kept a similar squad. They'll be fighting for each other. We know these players will fight till the very end for us, I think. I believe so anyway. Anyway. Moving on to the pre-season results that we had. A very good 6-0 win against the under-23s to start it all off. You can see Brady Chick and Craig Palmer with a couple goals. We then beat the that was the under-18. The under-23s, I accidentally managed to basically put all the players that weren't in the first 11 into the under-23s, meaning I had literally made no subs in this game. And Lee Orford got injured in the first half after scoring. So I had to play the rest of the game with 10 men against my under-23s, many of which are first-team regulars anyway. But we managed to win 3-0 thanks to Orford, Lofts and Drury. We then had pretty hard defeats against Cambridge United 3-0 and Ipswich Town 2-0. Goal to be expected, to be fair. But they are the two teams we're playing today, so let's hope that doesn't happen again. 0-0 draw against Stockport County, who went up with us, of course. And then two very good wins against unknown teams, Chester Nomads and Uwis Harold. I just love the names of those two teams, which is why I played them. And I like to get some goals in the back of the net to build confidence ahead of the season. But you can see Uda got a hat-trick in his first game. I know it's only friendly, but his first game for the club. Chris Scott got a couple as well, and Jack Young scored in the 69th minute. Against Harold, we managed to win 6-0 as well. Drury, Uda, Lofts all got a goal each, as did Chris Scott. Jack Young with 2 goals. He's on fire. And he scored in the next game, 3-0 against Hungerford. Conference South team. He got 1 goal, Spencer Drury got 2. And then a 2-2 draw against another National League South team. Not the best result to end pre-season, but away from home, I'll let them off. Mohammed managed to get a goal, and Larry Uda also got a goal. So a decent pre-season, and we go into this game against Cambridge United full of confidence. The team morale is high. This is the team I'm going with. Sivzelis, Walker, Bayern, Lofts, our usual back forward. It's been that way for the last few games. I think that's the best thing to use going forwards. Green and Tyler are playing as the wing-backs. I've decided to keep Tim Green in there. He was great last season. He doesn't really deserve to be dropped. Whereas Warren wasn't that great. So Flynn Tyler has impressed me in those few games in pre-season. So the guy on loan from Ipswich, yep, I was right, keeps his place at left wing back going into this season. Now we're using the same central midfield, Marlowe and Dibber. You may think that's a bit strange considering we do have Mohammed Garber in the team, but they both played well last season. Garber has to try and win his place by playing better than those two. So if he does, then he'll dislodge Dibber or Marlowe. Up front, Palmer, Uda and Drury. Going with that 3, I think they're my 3 best strikers on paper. But we've got Jack Young on the bench, we've got Brady Chick on the bench, and we've got Joseph Mohammed on the bench. Lee Orford's injured. I've decided to leave Chris Scott out today, but there's still an opportunity for him to grab a first team place if he starts to score when I give him the opportunity. I think I've covered everything, but I'm not entirely sure. I've probably missed something. Let's move on to another feature. Paul's big day out. It's feature heavy today, guys. Yes, that's right, Cambridge. Haven't done them yet, and this is the perfect opportunity to do them. I do love the city of Cambridge. I grew up not too far away in Chelmsford, but I never really visited it. In fact, I didn't visit it until I met Jenny, my wife already. She's got relatives that live close by. We visit sometimes, and I do love the city of Cambridge. It's a great place, and I would recommend visiting it on a Paul's big day out. Not necessarily, you don't have to call it Paul's big day out when you go there. Or you can do if you like. Send me a selfie if you're in Cambridge. Go for it. Lovely historical city. Obviously famous for the university as well. But there's lots to do there. I haven't numbered Larry Uda. These are the numbers, just so you can see. Whee! There we go. I feel like there was something that I've forgotten to say. Yeah, it might come back to me. I would like to thank you for the magnificent support over the last few episodes, especially the playoffs. That was brilliant. Now, one thing that you guys have been telling me to do, instead of doing the instructions this way, do it by show positions. So when subs are made, that position will be, you know, man-marked or closed down. So that's what I'm going to start to do. I didn't do this in the past because I was lazy, and you can't apply advice to team when it's on this one. So yeah, that's just me being lazy, to be honest. So let's go for that. They're playing a 4-2-3-1. Their danger man up front is Loft. He scored a couple goals against me in pre-season in our 3-0 loss. Was it 2-0? 3-0? Can't remember. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a really tough season. What do I say? Go out there and impress everyone. Yeah, do it. Do it for the fans. I didn't use that option, but do it for the fans anyway. Now, the tactic I am using is the same one as the playoff final, slightly adjusted to what I basically used in the playoff final. Attacking, being more expressive, look for overlap, higher tempo. It's a dangerous approach to take at this level for us, but I think that's what I do best. Attack with 3 up front. That's what we know. Maybe over time I will have to look at the stand. That's the new Jack Young stand in construction at the moment. There's the corner that we're going to rename. I've lost my train of thought. Yes, I might have to use an attacking midfielder or a defensive midfielder at some point. That really is a building site over there, isn't it? Carnage. The Jack Young stand it's going to look beautiful, I promise you. He'll be proud. He'll be there with some scissors opening the stand, of course. Snip. Here come Cambridge United early on then. I've done a lot of talking in this episode. We're 1-0 down. That shut me up. That was to be expected, I suppose. Oh no, Craig Palmer's picked up a knock, apparently. Suffered a damage heel. Dibber does well. It's into Drury. Can we break? It's over to Palmer. Palmer over the bar. Something weird happened to my computer. And yeah, I'm going to have to take Palmer off. Oh yeah, I was going to show the under-23s. Because the likes of Bradley Berry are now in the under-23s, of course. We're bringing on the hero that is Jack Young. He's had a great pre-season. He deserves to have a chance in this first ever League 2 match. Without him, we wouldn't even be here today. Now, in pre-season, when I did this, fluid and... what was the other thing I did? I've clicked work ball into box. I think my assistant told me to do that. Yeah, let's leave it on. Oh yeah, I pushed the defence up slightly. This worked quite effectively, but it was generally against weaker opposition, to be fair. I'm going to say... I'm not going to be harsh on them. It's our first ever game in League 2. Let's say unlucky and push on. My mouse is now wandering by itself. Go away. Dibber, good interception, but that's the end of that highlight. Teasing with me, Football Manager. Already. Doesn't look like much is going to happen. We've actually had more shots than them. 30 minutes to go. It's not been Udder's day. It's not been a debut to remember for him. Brady Chick is going to come on, and Marlowe's going to come off for Garber, who will play in his preferred attacking playmaker role. Let's go for that. Let's be a bit more adventurous. We're going to attack down the wings with the fullbacks as well. We're not going to work the ball into the box. We will close down more though and roam from positions. That's what I meant to click. That's what worked well in pre-season. Oh yes, I forgot to say, Patrick Dibber is officially the vice-captain of Regen Rovers as Charlie Lofts picks up a knock. Dion Mills has been an absolute disgrace in pre-season. He's missed training sessions nearly every day. It's been ridiculous trying to control him. He can just leave. He's not got a contract anymore. Just leave if you don't want to stay, Dion Mills. You do actually have the opportunity to get rid of him in that vote, by the way. But yeah, he's not been a good boy at all. Here's Drury coming through to Tim Green, crossing it in. Bradley, Brady Chick gets our first ever goal in League 2. Absolutely brilliant from him. That's what he's all about. Headers. He's not really. He's only got 10 on heading, but we like to think he's a man mountain up front for us. Tim Green with the assist. It's a great crossing, but it's all about Brady Chick beating the goalkeeper's doing backflips all over the place. That is terrible goalkeeping, but we don't care. We've equalised, and we deserve that, and we're going to continue to attack and try and win this game against all odds. Charlie Lofts, you're going to have to stay on with that gashed head, my friend. Few minutes to go. Tim Green into Jack Young. Oh, that is a terrible tackle on Jack Young. Send him off for life. Put him in jail. Throw away the keys. You don't do that to good old Jack Young. He's got a bloody statue. Didn't you see it as you walked in the stadium, my friend? Disgraceful. That's probably why he did it, though. Can we take advantage of this man? Advantage? Probably not. In fact, Jack Young has got angry and given away a penalty in the last minute. Jack Young, what are you doing? You got a player sent off. There's no need to do this. Revenge for Jack Young. He's got to beaten up a player in the penalty area, and we're going to lose the game in the last seconds. Yeah. Well, welcome to League 2. Ryan Loft scores 2 goals against us, but encouraging signs overall. It could have been a lot worse, and we've only lost 2-1 with a penalty in the last minute. We do like to concede penalties late on in games, I think. Jack Young, well, we'll forgive you for that one because you got us here, and maybe it was a little bit controversial. He ends on a 6.3 because of it. I'm going to say that they gave it their best shot. Well, we start with a loss, but overall I am encouraged. Charlie Lofts. Well, let's use the club doctor, which apparently we now have. Oh no, Craig Palmer out for 2 weeks. It's been a little bit injury hit this game, and Chris Kenny is out with food poisoning. Whoever he is, I have no idea who he is. Plays for the under-18s. So this is the under-23 squad. Well, we did have a look at it briefly, didn't we? But you can see here, Bradley Berry's in there, Darren Miller's in there, Dale Wall's in there, Chris McKenzie, Phil Sawyer. There's been a few players dropped to the under-23s. Miguel's in the first team, but available for the reserves. JJ, Adam Fox. There's a few names in there that you could save. I'm letting you basically vote for as many people as you want in this poll. You can tick as many boxes and then vote. But the 5 with the least votes will get evicted from the Regen Rovers house. Good news, chaps. We've now sold 340 season tickets for this season. That's an increase, a big increase from last season. So that's pleasing. How many people turned up for the Cambridge United game then? 2161, which I think is probably our biggest league attendance. 1534 on the last day of the last home game of last season. That's good. And considering we've got no stand on the other side of the pitch, that's pretty impressive. So well done for turning up for League 2, chaps. I've called you chaps twice. That just seems weird. I've never called anyone a chap before in my life. Also, our scouting range has been increased. Now includes all of the UK and Ireland. Extravagant, eh? Oh, financially, we're going to be screwed, I think, this season. I don't know what's going to happen, but you have to take the hit to progress as a club, and without getting promoted, we wouldn't have become a professional club, and some of these players would have just not developed. I really have faith that some of these guys will actually be decent players for us long term now, because of the simple fact that we've gone professional. Even Jack Young might improve. I mean, not a great start to League 2, giving away a penalty. Get someone sent off in revenge, hack someone down with a chainsaw in the penalty area, and we lose 2-1, but I will let him off, of course. 300 games in management. Wow. So, massive fixture against a Championship club in Ipswich Town. No, they're in League 1. I'm talking about Championship. They're in League 1. Ipswich, you've let me down. Fun fact, if I didn't support West Ham, I'd probably support Ipswich. The reason why I support West Ham is simply a friend of, someone came to the school in year 2. So he lived in Dagenham or Romford, and he moved to Chelmsford. Came to the school, I became best friends with him, and he supported West Ham. So I can't remember correctly, but I assume that's why I started supporting West Ham. Because there's no footballing background in my family. None of my family support anyone. So it just happened to be that West Ham were a local team to Chelmsford in Essex. It worked out nicely, really. So I probably would have supported Ipswich. I mean, there were a lot of Man United glory hunters around back then, of course, in the late 90s, early noughties. But I just couldn't imagine being a Man United fan. I loathed them back then because I just didn't like the fact there was glory hunters back then. Even when as a 7-year-old, I didn't like glory hunters because that's why people supported them, because they're winning everything. But as a child, you don't really think about that. But I did. I was a bit advanced, I suppose, at that stage, thinking about I don't want to be a glory hunter. I'm not supporting Man United. Anyway, the reason why I would have supported Ipswich, I'm blabbering here, is because my best friend, he sort of became, I knew him from a young age, but he became my best, in junior school and infant school, you're just very promiscuous with your best friends. One week it's someone, next week it's someone else. Or 1 year, maybe not every week, but I suppose it can. I'll shut up. I'll finish the story. Anyway, he supported Ipswich Town, this friend of mine. He's the one that introduced me to Football Manager, or Championship Manager as it was back then. And so I probably would have supported Ipswich if it wasn't for my previous friend who supported West Ham. But there we go. Anyway, we're taking on Ipswich Town of League One today at home at the Regen Rovers Stadium. You'll see I've made a couple changes as I was blabbering away. Chris Holmes has come into the team because Lofts is still recovering, I suppose, from his gashed head. Palmer's injured. He's going to have to come out. Chris Scott can go on the bench. We're playing Mohammed as the advanced forward with Uda and Drury. We'll give Uda another go today. We'll stick with the rest of the team. Warren's come in because I can't play Flynn Tyler. His parent club is Ipswich. Let's get on with this. Come on, you younglings. I need to start a new chant. Garber isn't garbage. Garber isn't garbage. Yes. No. Go away, Paul. Shut up. They're going with a classic 4-4-2. Let's hope my innovative formation it proves to be up to the League One standard. We did ourselves proud against Cambridge United, I think. To lose in the last few seconds is unfortunate. But we've had our fair share of late goals, of course. Still building. Still lots of concrete everywhere. Still probably some 12-year-old kids have managed to sneak in and now playing with some sort of digger whilst watching this game. It looks like it's being constructed of balsa wood, which doesn't really convince me that the stand is going to survive. Here's Drury, can't run onto that. I'm keeping it on attacking. That's what I do. We're an attacking team. We're going forwards. We're looking for glory. As Uda picks this up into Mohammed, it doesn't quite find his man. Here come Ipswich, but Holmes does well. It's knocked away to McManaman. Boateng, come on guys, get in there. Good tackle, but Hall manages to get it back. Pinilos, Haim, Noble. Well, this is a build-up. It's going to be a goal. We know it's going to be a goal. We've got it on key highlights. Goal. Key highlights, long build-up. It means it's a goal. It's very easy to predict. We're 1-0 down after 4 minutes, and the Ipswich fans in their navy tops for some reason are going ballistic. That's what happens when you go attacking against a League One team, I guess. Let's go more direct. We will go like that. We will hit early balls. We're going to whip them. Get stuck in. Hope for a miracle, I guess. But it's probably going to be 2 defeats today in this first episode of... Oh, that goes wide. Of League 2. Although this isn't a League 2 game, of course. It's a Football League Cup, EFL Cup, whatever you want to call it. Milk Cup, Coca-Cola Cup, Fallopian Tube Cup. As we go 2-0 down. And it looks all over for us. Look at that. There's a Sega container thing over there. It's a great ball in from Rob Hall, ex-West Ham player. And it's an easy finish for Penfold. Gets his second goal of the game. 2-0 down. Maybe I shouldn't have gone attacking. To be honest, it's probably good if we go out this competition, although I suppose it is a bit of a money spinner. There's nothing to lose today. Go out there and give it your best shot. We're going to attack. We're going to go for it. Pump the ball into the box, chaps. Why have I called them chaps again? Why is it the word of the episode? Chaps. Chapstick. Chapettes. Chipolatas. The strikers aren't doing anything. We're going to swap Drury and Mohammed around. Joseph Mohammed. Really warm. Should have taken this jumper off, but it's my lucky jumper. We need it on. Magic. We need magic from you. It's because I'm not wearing a tie. Dibber. Oh, what a ball to Tim Green. Here's Tim Green. What's he going to do? He's lost the ball. Should have put an early cross in. I suppose I've told him to try and get forwards rather than putting early crosses in now. So he's just fulfilling my instructions, I guess. Ridder's coming back. He's getting desperate. But it looks... Oh, Warren does well. Well done, Warren. Into Dibber, who loses the ball. That's pretty atrocious from him. Maybe it's time to bring Garber on and see what he can do. This is going to be 3-0. Penfold. It's wide. That is a surprise. I'm going to take Marlowe off. We're going to bring Garber on again as an advanced playmaker support. And we're also going to take Joseph Mohammed off for Chris Scott, who we know can finish a chance. He's got 15 on finishing, giving lots of my strikers contracts to just show I've got confidence in them. Throwing in a dangerous position for Ipswich Town. Is this going to be a third? It'd be nice to get a consolation goal. That's 3-0. Noble scores. We've been asking for this. Maybe I'm going to have to be more pragmatic and play a more defensive style of football. I have the other two options. They're the same formations almost. We've got the defensive midfielder option, the attacking midfield option, as Drury gets a consolation goal from a Warren cross. That's nice. It's nice to get on the score sheet. Spencer Drury, first goal of the season. Good stuff. Dibbert, lovely ball actually, out wide to Warren, and it was a brilliant cross from him, to be fair. Maybe he will be our main left back this season. Once again, I've forgotten what I was talking about. Yeah, we've got different tactical options. That was it. We have the defensive midfield option, the attacking midfield option. One's counter, one's defensive football. We might have to play them, or I may have to change the formation and go with a completely different tactic if we do struggle this season to survive. It might get desperate at some point. Let's make our last change then. I'm going to take off. We'll give Kevin Miguel a run out. We'll go back to the ball-winning midfielder role there, the other side, and we'll just go route one, I think. There's a slim chance that we can get back into this, but it's very, very unlikely. 10 minutes to go. It's not going to happen. Yep, it's not happening. We've done ourselves reasonably proud, though. We scored a goal. That's nice. That's the end. 2 defeats today. 2-1 against Cambridge, 3-1 against Ipswich Town. To be expected. I don't know... Oh, damn it. That didn't work. That's ruined. The morale of the team has suddenly gone from very good at the start of this episode to... pretty atrocious going into this game against Mansfield Town. Where were Cambridge predicted to finish? Let's just check. Although this isn't always a very good indication, is it? Cambridge are expected to finish 13th. Mid-table team we've lost against. That's okay. Next up, Mansfield Town away from home, who are actually bottom after one game. Then Barnet, who I think that's a winnable game. Fleetwood Town, Bristol Rovers. We've got well, it's not the Johnston's Paint Trophy anymore. It's called the Checkatrade Trophy. We've got the picture, correct picture. Checkatrade.com. We'll see how it goes, as I always say. We'll see how it goes. But thanks for watching today's episode. Please smash that like button. It'd be much appreciated. I think I've mentioned everything I needed to. If I haven't, then I'll mention it in the next video. Vote via various polls in the description below. You can send me logos, shirts, whatever you like. Everything is much appreciated, your end, and my end, and your end, I hope. I will see you in the next episode.